what I have against today's capitalizing of sound system culture is there's no connection to the origin.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't have a problem with any corporate company coming in and exposing this crap because the music is there to be exposed. You know what I mean? And you know, we want to see all of these celebrities doing sound clashes because it's great for what we invented. We don't want to invent something that just keep it in Jamaica or keep it amongst the West Indians. But when these corporate companies come in and they do these big clashes, you know, let the kids know the origin. Don't present it like you're presenting something that you just sat down in your office and you said, okay, this is what we're going to do.
Great idea.
You know, this is, you know, it's not real. It's not the right thing to do. It's actually being a pirate. That's what pirates do.
Right.
Take things and act as if it's there.
Watch out, boom shot. You tell him say there's a make the weight and Merman now. So this one here short shot. It can't stop. Boom shot.
Boom shots.
Who took what? Where did it start? Did it start from the Jamaicans or the Jamaicans visited America and take it? Then now when we speak of the aspect of sound clashing, the DJs in the hip hop culture, they would call a sound clash battling. It's the same thing. So you would say you're going to a DJ battle, but for us, that's a sound clash.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I definitely gravitate to the fact that it came from Jamaica. It had to come from Jamaica. You know what I mean?
So on a personal level, did you make a distinction from after being a hip hop head? Did you start to realize actually this stuff that I'm really into comes from a heritage and a culture that I'm part of?
Yes, I started to become, you know, really overwhelmed and obsessed, you know, with the whole culture and the connecting of the culture. And, you know, as I got older, I became more interested in what is early dancehall, you know, 80s dancehall, the Pinchers, the Tigers and Flower Guns and those people, you know, Briggy, Charlie and so forth, and less interested in the hip hop, you know, and until I found myself, you know, being an advocate for the sound system culture. But I definitely was able to adopt the parallel. And when you speak to people, you know, like a Shinehead, who's also coming from the same hip hop culture that I was exposed to, you're saying to yourself, yeah, the story is real. It does come from this, you know. What I have against the, and I think Rob and I spoke about this too, what I have against today's capitalizing of sound system culture is there's no connection to the origin.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't have a problem with any corporate company coming in and exposing this crap because the music is there to be exposed. You know what I mean? And you know, we want to see all of these celebrities doing sound clashes because it's great for what we invented. We don't want to invent something that just keep it in Jamaica or keep it amongst the West Indians. But when these corporate companies come in and they do these big clashes, you know, let the kids know the origin. Don't present it like you're presenting something that you just sat down in your office and you said, okay, this is what we're going to do.
Great idea.
You know, this is, you know, it's not real. It's not the right thing to do. It's actually being a pirate. That's what pirates do.
Right.
Take things and act as if it's theirs, right? So again, I applaud everyone. I seen, you know, the Red Bull Clash, phenomenal concept. You know what I mean? And these kids are raving and they're enjoying themselves, and that is what Clash is all about, enjoying themselves. So at that aspect, I salute them. You know what I mean? The only thing is that I would love it, some literature out there, or even some of the people who touch that stage to say, hey, this art form, you know, is something that comes from Jamaica. Because these kids who are 15, 16 and going up, they're just going to an event and they're raving and they're saying, hey, this is the best thing ever. There's no Jamaica marked on that, you know? And I think that any culture that had something that they created that was so rich and so cultural, they would be asking for the same thing that I'm asking for.
Right.
A little bit of identification, you know?
Well, funnily enough, I think I've had this conversation with Rob like a few years ago when we started working, and Red Bull was just starting to do some stuff, you know, taking a space in Notting Hill Carnival as a new thing, and they had their own thing, and it was very much, you know, it was during Carnival, but it was closed off and kind of VIP, and I always thought it was an odd thing because every time I would go, I felt like Carnival was supposed to be go out, listen to all the music, and be part of the sound system. but then you're entering something which is now only certain people can get in, and only certain, so already it felt like you're going into something different.
Right.
And I made this funny joke, I don't know if you ever remember, but I said, one day I might wake up and somebody says to me, oh, what, did you know that sound system or reggae culture was born in Jamaica? And I'm like, I thought, imagine if that ever happened.
Right.
And now we're entering conversations as if, is there a risk of that happening if things like this, if things like sound systems don't get credited from the...
I think in order to keep our culture going, and our local culture, our culture in Jamaica, our West Indian culture, our culture here in the diaspora, it's important to identify that this is where it comes from. It doesn't belong to us. Let me make that clear.
Sure.
Right? It doesn't mean that a white man, a blue man, a green man, a white female, a red female, or whatever is not, accepted in playing the music and being part of the culture. Right? So we don't own it. There are people who feel that we own it, and I don't think that's right. You know what I mean? I think, dancehall music, reggae music is out there for all colors and creeds to enjoy and also participate in spreading that culture. But give credit to where it comes from.
Right.
You know what I mean? Say it started here, I was in love with it here, and I took it here, and I introduced it here. You know what I mean? For maybe 16 years now, I've been managing World Champion Sound Mighty Crown, multiple World Champion Sound Mighty Crown. And that is something that I make sure that's always done. That connection to Jamaica always has to be there. When they're in Japan, they make sure that they let this generation of people that respect them and want to be like them. And listen, take that trip to Jamaica. You know what I mean? Go live in Cockburn Pen, in these garrison cities and inner cities that we did, and learn the culture before you think about stepping on that stage and saying that you are a sound boy. You know what I mean? And that's so much, that's so important. And I think that, our players need to also advocate for this.
Right.
You know what I mean? When you step on, if you're lucky enough to get on the radar of a Red Bull, because Red Bull is a huge entity, right? If you're lucky enough to get on that stage, represent yourself, but represent where your culture comes from as well. Don't get caught up in the hype. And I've seen many of them compete and they do their thing, artists and selectors alike, no mention.
Right.
No mention at all. And I'm like, you guys are the same ones that after the lights and the cameras go down and close and you go back to Jamaica and you're not involved next year, you guys are the same ones who are going to sit down and talk about teeth for team. Look what I want. When you had that opportunity to put that stamp there, we have to put the stamp there.
I think I can confidently say, just on the first part of what you said, say that I don't think history will show that reggae music, or if you want to term it Jamaican music, has been very open to any type of person. You've seen Europeans, Japanese, whatever. I think it has, so there's no argument on how people from all over the world has flocked to this sound, and it's been anyone can embrace it, and there's been no criticism on.
There is still a gray era of non-acceptance.
Sure.
There is a gray area of non-acceptance, and you're starting to see that gray area get a little bit more bigger these days, because a lot of the other cultures who have come into reggae are starting to be very, very successful in doing so. So in the beginning, right, we had reggae artists, but most of the Jamaican artists were at the forefront of the fame.
Right.
And we had soundboy culture, but most of the Jamaican salsa was at the forefront of the fame. But now there's other cultures who have understood, they have studied, they have evolved, and they're playing the game just as well. So that gray area, not 100%, but there's still an area that we have to acknowledge that's there, where some feel like this is not, this is what would you call it, an unfair situation that is going on. And for those who may be listening to you and me talk, I want to just say, in order for the music to grow, we can't grow it by ourselves. In order for the culture to grow, we can't grow it for ourselves. We're now clashing on the Jamrock Cruise and other places where all kind of cultures are there, and they're giving forwards for sound clash, and that's great, so I just wanted to put that out there and let the people also acknowledge that there is that gray, you know. And as other people get successful, the gray starts to grow a little bit, and we need to shrink it back, you know.
Well, I think most people have. You started off saying that Jamaicans are very competitive.
Yes.
So you're basically getting a run for their money right now.
Yes,
I mean, if you, but you know, at the end of the day, you guys will always rise to the challenge. So pretty.
Oh yeah, we're still in the race. Don't get me wrong. We're still in the race. The Jamaican artists are doing absolutely well, and the Jamaican sounds or West Indian sound systems are doing great as well. You know. I just advocate for the growth of the culture. I think that we are someplace now, you know, with other entities coming in and borrowing a little bit of the culture here and there and putting their own twist onto it. I think that it's time now for us, and when I say us, I mean, you know, the culture, you know, to start to reinvent what we're doing.
Now,
is reinvent the proper word? Or kind of just sit back, look at what's going on and change with the times.
Right. Evolve.
Yes, evolve is the word I'm looking for.